music a little bit off, and I'm happy that we're live now. Dear Hanane, I'm really happy that you join me in the LinkedIn Live today, and I hope that a lot of interesting persons will join the live, will write from where they write down in the comment section where they are joining, write down their questions and whatever, because I think we've got quite some very important topics to discuss about today. The main topic is lead from within, and I think that's something where we are really in a very good connection, the two of us, and I'm really looking forward to having your inspirations and then joining maybe some of my views to it. That will be very, very great. So thank you, Hanane, to join us. I'll give the word to you to say a couple of words about yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Kai. Thank you. I know that today we're taking a combined challenge. It may not be your first live on LinkedIn, but it's your first on English, right?
Yes, my first English live, yes.
Yes, yes. And this is my first live on LinkedIn. So I'm very happy to take this challenge together. And well, let me present myself. I don't like to present myself using my credentials because they don't tell much about who we are.
Yeah.
They may provide us with expertise and knowledge, but they don't tell much about who we are, our talents, our passions, our motivations, and so on. So I will present myself differently today, maybe things that people don't know much about me. So I was always obsessed by the study of human behavior, psychology, and personal growth. I may have I used that at the first place to overcome my own struggles, but I awakened a dream a few years ago to empower others from inside out. So let me tell you why empowering others from inside out. Because every single struggle I had to overcome in the past started from my thoughts. And I observed myself along the way, and I noticed that every thought impacted the way I perceive the world, impacted my self-esteem, impacted myself, my decisions, my choices, my actions, my behaviors, everything. And the moment I grew conscious and I started to shift perspective, everything shifted. And that's why I'm here. So that's why I really believe that everything starts from within us. And that's why today we are talking about leadership, because I believe even leadership is something that starts from home, with our kids, with our students, with our teams. And before talking about leadership, we need first to stop and talk about self-leadership.
Yes, I fully agree. My statement that I would really substantiate: before leading other persons, or at least if you want to do this in a very good and successful way, it's really, really important to lead yourself, to know yourself, to lead yourself. And this is why I'm very happy that you joined to that live interview, live call here, because we are starting from inside out, and that's the journey we will take today. So thank you for your introductory words. Yes, so I would say, although I do not see any comments, I hope that people have joined and are just too shy to comment. So please write some comments that we know who's there. And we would like to engage with you, put some questions, and you might also put some questions on us that we would be really eager to answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we just start and jump into it. So you told me the first thing you would like to talk about is self-awareness. So what do you understand as being self-aware, and what do you want to share with us?
Okay, well, for me, leadership, self-awareness is the prerequisite of leadership. And not only leadership, it is the prerequisite of emotional intelligence, of confidence, of a lot of things. So to expand our potential of leadership, we need to grow more aware. So let me first, before talking about self-awareness, let me talk about what does it mean to lead from within. So people who lead from within are people who are aware of who they are and what they would like, where they would like to be. They bring this clarity of the vision, of the values and the direction. So people who lead from within are leaders who continuously improve because they understood that change and improvement is really the core of success. They are leaders who embrace empathy and compassion because they understood the role of empowering others is really really essential in this process. There are leaders who they accept their failures, they embrace their failures, and they accept making mistakes because there is no perfection. And I think we agree on that. There are also leaders who trust others, who empower others, and not try to drag them down. So it's more about empathy, trust, courage. Is a lot of things. I don't want to throw just words over there, but this doesn't mean that this person is like perfect. But it is about a person who is willing to improve and revamp themselves along the process. Most and not least, leaders who lead from within are people who are aligned with who they are. They are aligned with their beliefs, with their values. But in order to be aligned with your beliefs and values, you need to create this self-awareness. Self-awareness is to know about our potential, about our strengths and limitations. We cannot change something that we are not aware about. So we cannot, that's why self-leadership, it starts from within, because the purpose is to create this, to develop personal skills in order to be able to develop interpersonal skills. We cannot empower others if we don't manage to empower ourselves. We cannot control the emotion of others if we are not able to control our own emotions and our stress. We cannot overcome other limitations if we don't overcome our own limitations. So that's why we need to pause and stop and take some, and this is something that needs really investments on the self. This is an inside job. This is not just like, okay, I press on a button and then I am there. This is really a long life process because the challenges of today, it's not the challenges of tomorrow. That's why self-awareness is really just that first step that may trigger a lot of things after. It's about clarity of the vision and how we can align everything that follow with that vision, either the self-image or the behavior, the capacities, and everything.
I fully agree. That's also my understanding. So self-awareness is like you mentioned values. Values are deep beliefs, deep action models. Like we are deciding and acting according to our values. So if we are not aware about the values, then we are not aware how we are functioning.
Exactly.
And therefore, like, and you mentioned also strengths and weaknesses or limitations better than weaknesses, because the limitational beliefs are, to my understanding, also very, very important to know. And that's something where it makes sense to work on. On the weaknesses, not always really good to work on it. It's okay, but to work on limitational beliefs, that's something important. So just one example, if the limitational belief is I have to do perfect work, all I deliver has to be perfect, then this limits me in growth, because you cannot always deliver perfect and you might fear failure, as you also mentioned. So therefore, I fully agree, self-awareness is very, very important. So I think it's now time to have a look. We have two guests who joined. It's Uda Terap. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Uda.
thank you in advance. Great that you joined. We're happy about it. And 𝗂𝗏𝗍𝗂 joined. Hello, Kai and Hanane, with a sun symbol. And she says, accept my emotions. Yes, accepting emotions, and maybe before even realizing them, feeling them. Because I think many times when I ask persons, they how do you feel, they will say good. But good is not the feeling. So first they have to dig into themselves to understand, is it that I'm feeling happy about what, where can I feel it in my body, and so on, so there are a couple of things. And then at the end, if it's there, if I know, for example, if it's anger,
exactly.
If I don't accept that there is anger at this very moment, it's hard to proceed.
Well, it's a very good point, because one of the awareness is not only about our thoughts and values, it also includes our emotions. And a lot of people, they don't see the value of being aware of their emotions. They try to suppress them. They just ignore them, while our emotions are beautiful messages every day that tell that if we are happy, if we are angry, if we are confused, if we are frustrated, if we are just that it tells about our state. And it's an excellent way to go back and see, to check what are the thoughts that we are nurturing, because the emotions are just the upper part of the iceberg. So the emotions today has become really a very a good point to expand our potential of leadership again, because a lot of people, they don't use their emotions in a positive way. They use them in a negative way. They overreact, or are more in reaction than in response. They don't handle their conflicts with more with mindfulness and presence. They are just in an autopilot, and they keep reacting, and this is what keeps them getting into more and more conflict.
Yes.
So I will go back to this point, and then self-awareness, it encompasses not only the values and the beliefs and limiting beliefs or limitations, but it also talks about the emotions and how we can use them in order to take decisions. Very important part for leaders.
Very important. And as you mentioned in your first expressions, the thoughts are the ones preceding the emotions. So if your thoughts are only about fear and limitations, and you're triggering your emotions yourself. So that's also something.
Exactly. We cannot talk about thoughts before talking also about what trigger their thoughts. The thoughts. It's about the perception, and maybe this is something that comes from the way we're educated, from our cultural values, for a lot of things. And then you see, that's why we all see the same thing, but we see them in different ways. And you see, consciousness, awareness, it can really shift a lot of perspectives. That's why some people, they're like biased, others are not. Maybe these people, they worked on themselves and they worked on these biases. And leading people requires a lot of wisdom, and also going beyond these biases.
For sure. That's really important. So I would say we go to the second topic, which is communication, that you wanted to talk about. But before, I want to encourage also our audience to put questions or remarks, whatever you like. So if you have questions like for self-awareness, the topic we just discussed, or for communication coming up right now, put your comments there. So Hanane, communication, what do you want to emphasize in communication?
Well, you see, communication, everything is interrelated. You see, we talked about the thoughts and emotions, and we often talked about communication as the message or the content. A lot of people, they would like to improve their communication, but they go just from the surface and try to find like very superficial solutions. Communication is beyond that, because it should start from our thoughts. And when we are conscious of the thoughts we are nurturing every day, we are also conscious about how these thoughts can impact our communication. Okay, let me give you an example. If our inner monologue is toxic and negative on a daily basis, how can we communicate in a positive way? And the opposite is true. If we are positive, and of course we're not supposed to be positive 100%, we're humans after all, but at least we create a balance. So our communication starts from within us towards others. Here we talk about communication, and I would like to talk also about effective communication. A lot of people, they communicate on a daily basis. There are a lot of people there. They give speeches and they send like they write articles. But the question that I'm asking are their communication are like triggering actions, inspiring others to change or improve things. That's why here we will find ourselves in effective communication. Effective communication is beyond, it's not just communicating, it's understanding the context where we are, the audience that we are talking to, the values, the expectations. The expectation, I'm going to repeat that, because if we're just communicating to communicate, well, this is not communication. But communication, effective communication, is when we combine the message with the expectations of people. And this, of course, implies a lot of proximity. The leaders should get closer to the team, to the people around him, to understand their needs, to understand their expectations, and communicate. Because yeah, this is how we can really create effective communication. And of course, well, you see, sometimes when I talk about this, I'm like perceived as someone not from this planet, but that's okay. I really believe that, well, you see, communication, it depends on the language also. As I said before, the language we are using from inside, which can impact the others. So yeah, of course, communication also involves using our emotions and our hearts. I think today with the COVID situations, we need a bit of shift in the way we communicate, because communication is not only about a message, it's beyond that. It's connections, it's people, and understanding people, responding to their needs and expectations.
I can find that. I love this message that you just put, and I have one example that I would like to share, where you see how it can be done not perfect and how it can be done in a better way. So I had once years ago a salesperson in my team, and the salesperson has made a training, and he learned that it's good to smile on the phone. But he just learned part of the story. So he learned that he could smile, then his voice sounded a little bit better, right? Yeah. But he didn't smile from the heart. So he smiled because he just heard it's good to smile. And at the same time, he was maybe angry about something else. Yeah. So I could sense that he was not smiling with his heart. He was not at the customer and saying, you know, I'm with you. I want to understand what your sorrows are. I want to help you. I want to, you know, that's my job as a salesperson. But he rather was just saying, okay, the tool smiling, I got it.
Yes, this is really very good point, and I thank you for that. Well, look, you talked about the salesperson. The salesperson, he's communicating every day. But the question, is he communicating about something that he believes in? Is he communicating about something, and really, is he coherent between what he thinks and what he says? And this is why some people, they manage to sell, and others, they never manage to sell, or maybe they make like few sales. Either sales or marketing or anything, people anyway, they will know if you are honest or not because your vibrations can tell also. And that's why our communication is not about the message, it's about the way we communicate the message. It's about the attitude, it's about the vibes, it's about the trust. So if people trust me, even if my communication may not be very clear, they still will trust me. But if people, they don't trust you, even if your communication is excellent and very clear, they will not trust you. So that's why people, they focus on communication and they don't see the prerequisites, the basics that we need first to create that trust. And in order to create trust, we need to ask this question to ourselves every day. Are we coherent between who we are and what we pretend to be? Are we walking the talk? You see?
Yes.
Yeah.
For example, I have realized just before we talked, I followed you, I've seen many posts, and I knew that the person behind must be a person with a big heart. I knew that from the way you were always posting since so many months. And it was when we talked first in a Zoom session, just to prepare this live, I knew already that we might have some, I don't know, language issues, cultural issues, or whatever, to 100% connect from our minds, but we will not have any issue because I knew that from the heart we would have a great connection. So I was clear that yes, this will be a great talk, just because we like each other, we understand each other, at least on that level.
Yeah, well, this is amazing. I really feel connected, very well connected to you. And this is something that I experience every day as I am active on LinkedIn. I feel like some people you connect easily with them, and then it goes so amazingly well. And some people you just like, oh, I don't want to connect with them. This is vibes also. And believe me, I have friends, and I think one of them is here. You connect so well with people because you share the same values and you share the same vibes, and you're honest with them. And some people, even if you are in that level of honesty, you may not have the same values, and then that really creates like confusion, or you simply don't connect very well.
Yes.
This is what I would like to highlight today, is that we don't need to tell people who we are. We need to show them through our acts who we are. People, they're not dumb. They feel it. They can really sense it through the words, and how well respect you walk the talk again.
Yes. I would say the comments again. Buddha commented, hence the importance of meditation, the acceptance of our emotions. Yeah, beautiful sentence. That's meditation really helps for many things, and one thing among others is acceptance of emotions, because in the meditation you're going into a state where you're not saying this is bad or I don't want to have it, but you're going to accept that state.
Yeah. Well, in order to comment on Huda's message, this is something that I struggled with for many years. I had to overcome a long-lasting pain, and whenever I had that emotion, like very often that was a lot of pain and frustrations, I would do everything to suppress that emotions and ignore it, thinking that this way I'm proven to myself that I'm strong and that I can handle it, and then this is not gonna stop me. And that was really the best mistake. And when I had my training on mindfulness, it was amazing, because one day I came across this article that talks about how to turn towards your emotions and your pain. And that really shifted my own perspectives, and I understood that whenever we are faced with a challenge, difficult emotion, pain, whatever the obstacle, we need to stop. And instead of rejecting that, suppressing that, ignoring that, we just need to stop and look at it, sense it with kindness and acceptance. With kindness and acceptance. It's like a baby. The baby, when he's crying, you don't just like put it back and leave. You need to take moments and calm him or her, and then behave with a certain level of compassion and kindness. This is exactly what we need to do with ourselves, and that really was life shifting. And whenever I have the occasion to share this with people, I do, because it changed my life, and for sure it would change others' lives.
Yes, yes. Thank you for sharing. I fully agree. This is the way to tackle emotions that you do not want to see, that are hurting you, but they will hurt even more when you suppress them. There is you create something when you suppress them. You create something like a vacuum, or you will not be happy. Or very short-term happy if you on long-term suppress your emotions and don't want to feel that. And when you let it be there and have a look at it and let this feeling come up, the chance that it takes just a while and then it goes down, maybe not disappears, but goes down, is there.
Well, when you don't accept something, means that you are in resistance.
Yes.
And I love this quote. Whenever I had a chance to talk about resistance, I refer to this quote: whatever you resist, it persists.
Yes.
And this is exactly what I experienced. I was resistant and resistant and resistant, and I just kept having that issues again and again and again. But the moment I was into acceptance and looking to that with kindness and compassion, things started to shift. And this is what happens to many people. Like they are faced with challenges, obstacles, and they keep, instead of like taking moments to pause and reflect, they just push it back and suppress it and ignore it. It's very important. Yeah, thank you for raising that.
Yes, Buddha has all the protection, all limitational beliefs. Yes, that's belongs basically to and the positive thoughts are the basis of efficient communication. Yes, that's basically substantiating what you said already. Very good, thank you, Buddha.
Yeah.
Sabine, with self-empathy leading the emotions. Yes, that's also important. We will come to empathy as the next point, and self-empathy is the important thing. I think many people are struggling to find how to be more empathetic, and we will touch that in a minute. Then we have one LinkedIn user where we don't see the name. Do you mean from the heart, being leading from the emotional unconscious mind? Not fully understand, but I would say yes, leading from the heart is very, very important. The unconscious mind is very limited. But when you just lead from the unconscious mind or even from the conscious mind, you cannot have the same, you cannot generate the same team feeling. Like I would, embracing the team, that's something that you need a heart and embracing the team with emotions if you want to be a good leader.
Yeah, may I add, yeah, excellent point. May I add something to it?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, well, in order to lead from the heart, we need to be conscious of the layers of the brain and how they function. And the first layer is the prefrontal cortex, is the conscious brain that functions with all the information, the data, the statistics, anything that has to do with logic. But all the motivation, all what we strive to do from our heart resides in the emotional brain. And we need to understand how the emotional brain functions, because when we go to sleep, the conscious brain goes to sleep, but not the emotional brain. So this is really, the emotional brain is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it, you get it back. And that's why being conscious of our emotions, of our motivations, of what we strive to do, is not something that you're going to find at the rational part, but it is something that you will defined from emotional mind, and this needs a lot of self-investment and a lot of reflections, and this is where you can find also the limiting beliefs and also this is how you can identify them to overcome them. It requires a lot of, I know, a lot of sometimes time. It depends on the investment we put on ourselves. Some people, they manage to do that very quickly. Some people, they need more time. So yes, understanding the function of the brain is really today one of the core of leadership, because we used to think that we lead by logic, but our decisions from the logical brain doesn't exceed 5%. And 95% of all what we do every day comes from the emotional brain.
Yes, very important. In my leadership coaching program, I think there is 80% is more on self-leadership. And even the part that is on leadership, this is when we, for example, we have a look at the servant leadership model from Greenleaf. And even that is not only on leadership, even that is also about the person who leads. So therefore, it's really, really important. Sabine writes, yes, Huda meditation, self-awareness training like Qigong is important. Yes, Sabine is a Qigong trainer. She will join me in LinkedIn Live next week, Tuesday. So therefore, she's announcing that already.
Yeah.
And another comment from Uda, I totally agree with you, Hanane and Kai, everything comes from heart, ends up being successful. Yes, thank you very much. So I love all the comments. We take a lot of time to comment on them. It's really interesting. We are going to take a little bit more time than expected, but I hope that's okay for our listeners.
Yeah.
So we proceed. Next topic is empathy. We talked already a little bit about it. Hanane, what do you like to add for empathy?
I laugh because empathy is part of being human. And today it has become really a debate, because it's just in scarcity today. A lot of people, they lost their hearts. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, empathy, I would talk about 3 levels of empathy. It starts from the cognitive part. The thinking part is when we stop and try to think what others thinking about something. And this is one of the elements also of communication, is trying to put ourselves in the shoes of others and seeing things from their perspectives. And if we are communicators, if we are marketers, we need this skill, because this is how we will understand the needs of others. The second level of empathy is what has to do with emotions. Is we try to put ourselves in the shoes of others, but this time to try to feel what they may feel. And the third level, it combines the cognitive and the emotional, and we get into compassion, because we move into action. What are we willing to do in order to help others? The moment we step into actions, then we put empathy into practice and it becomes compassion. Okay, this is very good. But in order to be there, in order to grow, to develop more empathy and compassion, we need to develop empathy and compassion towards the self.
Yes.
People who are not tolerant towards the self, how can they be tolerant towards the others?
Yes, and if we, for example, struggle to name our own feelings, to feel and name our own feelings, how shall we be able to use empathy with others? I mean, if we cannot do it for ourselves. So therefore, it's really important to take the time and the reflection and the feeling time to dig into yourself and try to see what is there, what kind of feelings do I have, when do I have them, how can I deal with them and not suppressing them.
Exactly. Empathy is about kindness towards the self. The more we grow more kind toward ourselves and more tolerant, and the more acceptance to our mistakes, the more also we will grow tolerant toward the others and more kind to the others. This is something, again, I mean, that starts from within us. This is something that should be developed from inside and before getting to the outer world. Yes, it requires a lot of wisdom sometimes, a lot of commitment to the self, and the impact can be very rewarding, really very rewarding. And you see kindness today, many people, they think, oh, kindness, either we have it or not. Today, kindness proved to be a skill that we can develop. It needs practice. And what happens, I really believe that all human beings, they have certain level of kindness within them. It's just some people, they gave up on that because they were impacted by the external world and the circumstances, and others, they maintain that. You see? So we just need to stop and think and see how can we detach ourselves from, not detach ourselves from the external world, but just not let the world impact who we are and our kindness and all these human values that we have within us. Otherwise, we will not be humans. We will be just like, I don't know what to call it, but there are some people like they are acting by hate and revenge and intolerance and grudge and biases, but this is not our purpose today.
Yeah, fully agree. So if you think as a manager, you can work 60 to 80 hours a week, be in full driver's mode, not taking care about yourself, your health, what your body needs each day, then it's really hard. Then somebody tells you learn empathy. It is not learning empathy and just going like mad as a manager as before. It is to take time, to take pause, to have a look at what your body needs, because there you start feeling and taking action for yourself. And then it will become, after time, it will become easier to understand, be curious what the others need.
Yes, awesome.
Okay, so we have another comment from Uda. I've always said that I was born to be empathic. I think that's the basis of a true interference with others. Yes, some people fortunately have it easier than others. They are born with it or whatever, but it's never too late. You can learn it. That's really important. You have to invest, you have to take time, but you can learn it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Thank you, Huda.
Yes, thank you. So next topic is trust.
Oh yes, amazing. Trust. I always say, in order to trust others or others trust you, you need to trust yourself. A lot of people, they are thriving to get that trust from people, but they don't trust themselves. So I would like to ask these questions for the people who are interested to raise this trust. Are you the person who you pretend to be every day? Are you coherent with your values? Are you first conscious of your values? Because you may not even conscious of your values. And then if you are conscious of them, are you aligned, coherent between what you say and how you act? Do you walk the talk every day? Do you respect your promises? People, do they see not only your competencies, but also your results? A lot of people, you may have great competencies today, but you may not achieve great results at the end of the year or whatever. So in order to create trust, you should be conscious that it's something that we need to initiate from us. We need to trust ourselves. We need to raise our confidence in order to be there and people trust in us. If we're struggling with self-confidence, how can others trust us? You see, if we're struggling with confusion and self-doubt, of course, people, they can feel it also. So a lot of things, may look very hippie, but the reality is that every single thing we would like to achieve, it should come from inside. And again, the emotional brain is like a garden. It really accepts whatever belief we believe in. So that's why we need to be very conscious about that, and we need to switch a little bit our limitations to affirmations, so that we can we initiate that process of growth and change and improvement. Developing trust in an organization requires integrity, requires competencies, great competencies, because we still need to master what we're doing. If we don't master what we're doing, what kind of trust are we putting there? And the question here is, integrity and competencies are enough? No, they're not enough, because we still need to have great results. You may have a great lawyer, great doctor, that they have the best degrees in the world, but are they walking the talk? Are they really? Are you getting the expectations you had from the very beginning? So achieving results, we all need to achieve the results. We can communicate for hours, for days, but if we are not focusing on the results, if we don't achieve the expected results, then here there is an issue. To create trust, we need to combine between the three: the integrity, the competencies, and the achievement of great results.
Yeah, I fully agree. And integrity, like showing what I am, how I am, really is really important, because people feel if I don't show everything, or if let's say if I hide something, I do not have to show each and every feeling, but they feel when I'm hiding something that belongs to me and that I should better show, they feel it. And then there is a lack of trust, because somehow subconsciously they realize that I'm not showing the whole. And therefore, yes, I fully agree. Integrity, showing your authentic self, is very important, and then walking the talk, so that you really see that the person is not just talking and 2 weeks later it's different.
Yeah.
But the actions are really following the talk. Yes. Great part. So I think we do not have further comments, so then I will try. We took a little bit longer, but I hope it does not matter to the audience. I will try, although it's not easy, it's quite a challenge, to do a short summary for you right now, but I will take the challenge and try to do so. So, and then you will compliment if I missed something important.
Okay.
So what I think the most important points for today were that, Hanane, you started in showing that everything that we do should start from within. Is it things that have to do with ourselves, or when we do self-leadership, or if we do leadership, but everything starts from inside? And we have tackled 5 points. The first was self-awareness, where it starts, because you said when we are not aware, when we are not conscious on how we are, our values, our emotions, then it's really hard to do anything else. So self-awareness is number 1. Second thing is communication, and there are several different layers of communication, and also that we discussed with a sales example, for example, that it makes a difference if we do it from our heart or just from our brain. The communication, the empathy. You said that first be good to yourself, like being empathetic with yourself, and then you can start to feel what others or reflect about what others might think, might want, might need. Trust is the 4th point. For trust, you said it is very important to show an integrative yourself, I mean, and so authentic self to your audience, walk the talk, and let the people judge by the results and not by the talk, and then they will start to trust yourself first. Sorry, I forgot that. So that's let's say the main things, and all this is self-leadership. And then when you've mastered that, I wouldn't say you have to master it to 100% before you can start to lead others, but you have to start this journey and be aware about it, because otherwise to lead other persons is really not meaningful, because you will put your own obstacles, your own critical emotions on the others, because you're not aware about it. You do not solve it yourself.
That's amazing. Thank you for this sum up.
Something important I was missing, because it was very short about all the time.
Yeah, I remember one day I posted an article about leadership, and I talked about these aspects, about trust, about empathy, and a lot more. And at the end, I had a very nice comment from someone that I remember very well. He told me, all what you said is about being human.
Mm-hmm.
And indeed, that really struck me, because I mean, today, even neuroscience, positive psychology, and mindfulness are interested about leadership, because they understood the impact of these values on our health. And okay, this is not something new, because after many years today, there is science who got interested about leadership. But the basics are there, like just being human and respecting ourselves and respecting others, is behaving and with empathy and compassion. This is something that is very, very basics about being human. So that's why self-leadership is an internal process to develop this awareness and this personal skills in order to start helping others and empowering others. And again, empowering the self is also empowering the others. We may not need to finish. There is no process to finish in order to start the other side, like empowering others, because it's a long life process. You see, it's not something that, okay, I will start my self-leadership, I will start leading from within, and then in a few months I will be empowering others. This is something that really is part of who we are, and should be like it should be embraced on a daily basis, and we can alternate between the two. The more we grow aware, the more we will understand others. The more we understand who we are, our talents, our passions, the more we will be able to understand and empower others. So I will end up with saying something very interesting that I learned, is that whatever we would like to achieve with others, we should start working on that from within. We would like love, we should start giving love. We would like respect, we should start respecting others. We would like compassion, we need to be compassionate to people. We would like to get help and support and empowerment from others. We need to give this empowerment and this support. So whatever we give, we receive it on a daily basis. Sometimes what we receive may not be like tangible, but this is the tangible things that make sense nowadays. It can be more joy, positive attitude, empowerment, support from friends, from family, from kids. This is amazing. This is not just words that I throw again. This is my experience. This is something that I learned. This is something that I experience every day. These are sometimes I provide help without any return, and I get amazing miraculous things in my life, and that's why I really believe in that. And I hope people understand the power of kindness, the power of giving, the power of being compassionate toward the others. Yeah.
Yes, that's a great statement to round it up at the end. I really like it. first to be human. Yes.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that we have to start giving things that we want to get, that we want to receive, because
Exactly.
then we will be in exactly that energy, in that mindset that we can receive it. And we are not thinking, I mean, if we say, I would like to have, I would like to, then we are in the lack.
Yes.
We are not in positive thinking and positive energy.
Exactly.
We are in
Yeah.
the lack situation. And we are seeing maybe others who have it and say, yeah, I want to have it. We are not happy. If we do it the other way around, how you describe it, that I want to have it, I give it. I give love to myself. I give love to other persons.
Yeah.
Then I'm already in that energy, and it's easy to return. And in Germany, we have some saying that it's. I try to translate it. The way you shout into the woods, it's going to return.
Exactly.
So it is an echo. So if we take care what we're transmitting, we know already what will return.
Yeah, this is amazing. This reminds me of my journey on LinkedIn. I started on LinkedIn a few years ago with a big frustration because my position was liquidated. And I just wanted to share that frustration and empower others not to do the mistakes that I did in the past. And amazingly, I was just focusing on giving. I had no intention of selling anything, of like receiving anything. I just wanted to share and inspire and empower others. And amazingly, I got more than expected. I had people reaching out to me. I had a lot of partnership and collaboration. I had friends and mentors that I still know and collaborate until now with them. It's amazing. You see, the more we focus on receiving, the more we don't receive anything. The more we are receiving and giving, we get more than expected. It's really simple. I mean, it's not complicated at all.
Dear Hanane, for the last thing before we say goodbye, if somebody says now, I've loved that talk, I would like to be connected with Hanane, I would like to talk with her, whatever, how do you want them to connect you?
Well, they can connect with me through LinkedIn, or they can connect with me on my website, HananeAnoua.com. They can get all the information about me from my website or directly from LinkedIn.
Great. So maybe you just put your website into the comments after we finished. So yeah, I'm looking at the last comments. Sabine wrote, "Become your true me." Yes. So that's very important. It takes some.
It takes courage.
It takes courage. It takes courage. When you're conscious, you have the chance, but it takes courage. But it's really, really important.
Yeah.
Now, Huda writes, the much we give, the much we receive in return or more in all areas of life. Yes, so she's supporting your statement, basically, our statement. Hanane, it was a real pleasure to have you here with me. Thank you very much. So I would say we say goodbye to the audience. Happy for the comments, and put some music for the very last minutes. And yeah, see you next time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm at the wrong window here.